Welcome to This Explainer. Look, we all know AI has completely taken over our workflows lately, right? It's literally everywhere. But today, we're unpacking a huge, kind of hidden shift that's happening right under our noses, the cognitive cost of AI. And more importantly, we're going to look at a super practical framework to actually manage it, called the Thinker's Rule. Okay, let's dive into this with a question. And I want you to be brutally honest with yourself here. Is AI helping you think, or is it thinking for you? I know, it sounds like a totally basic distinction, but in the real world, the line is incredibly blurry. I mean, think about your own daily habits. When you fire up a chatbot to write that dreaded Friday afternoon update email, are you using what it spits out as a rough starting point? Or are you just copying, pasting, and logging off for the weekend? Honestly, your answer to that question is pretty much the foundation of everything we're about to cover. So, the source material points out this phenomenon called the artificial intelligence trap. Now, don't get me wrong, nobody is denying that AI is insanely powerful. It is absolutely revolutionary. But this trap, it's super subtle. It's this quiet, almost invisible surrender of our active cognition over to a piece of software. Because AI is so efficient and, let's face it, so articulate, it creates this massive illusion of competence. It's kind of like the autopilot feature on a commercial jet. It's fantastic when you're just cruising along at 30,000 feet, but it is incredibly dangerous if the pilot forgets how to actually fly the plane when a massive storm rolls in. We get this perfectly worded response in, 3 seconds? And without even realizing it, we just totally bypass the deep, critical thinking process that's supposed to happen in our own heads. We're literally letting the software do all the heavy lifting. And here is the very real consequence of falling into that trap: cognitive atrophy. Basically, this is a significant decline in your mental sharpness and your critical thinking abilities, all because you're relying way too heavily on technology. And the research here is crystal clear, folks. This is a serious warning. Your brain will literally get weaker if you don't actively use it. Just think about a muscle that's been stuck in a cast for 6 months. If you are constantly outsourcing your problem solving and your analytical thinking to a machine, well, your own internal capabilities are inevitably going to start fading away.
It really all boils down to this choice right here. Are you getting a brain workout, or are you settling for a remote-control brain? Now, a brain workout, that means active cognition. It means pushing through difficult, dense texts, synthesizing complex ideas, and actually feeling that necessary friction of learning something new. It's a literal gym for your intellect. But the remote-control brain? That's just algorithmic reliance. That's sitting back, clicking a button to generate an answer, and just passively waiting for the output. It is a total surrender. When we choose that remote control over the workout, we are actively choosing convenience at the direct expense of our own mental rigor.
Okay, take a breath. How do we actually fix this without, throwing our laptops out the nearest window? Enter a framework called the Thinker's Rule. This is a framework designed specifically to combat that loss of mental sharpness we just talked about. It's totally empowering because it lets us keep using these incredible AI tools, but it sets up some very clear, non-negotiable boundaries. It ensures we aren't sacrificing our own intellect just to save a few minutes. It's really all about taking back the steering wheel. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how clearly it lays out the difference between AI helping you think and AI thinking for you. In a healthy, productive scenario where AI is helping you think, it acts like the world's fastest research assistant. It finds the sources, and this is the absolute crucial part, you are the one who decides if those sources are actually any good. The human is actively evaluating the data. On the flip side, when the AI is thinking for you, it just rates the entire essay, and you basically just hit print. Zero active cognition is happening there. The Thinker's Rule demands that we stay firmly anchored on the side of using AI to help us think, rather than letting it just take over the entire operation. Honestly, the easiest way to apply this rule in your day-to-day life is to just think of AI as a calculator for words. I absolutely love this analogy. Just think about a standard math calculator for a second. You use it to instantly figure out, say, 4,592 divided by 17, right? It totally handles the mechanical, tedious crunching of the numbers. But the calculator doesn't tell you why you're doing the math in the first place or what that final number actually means for your overall project. Well, AI is exactly the same way, just for language. It is absolutely fantastic for the mechanical stuff, formatting, generating bulleted lists, checking your grammar. But the nuance, the strategic judgment, and the final conclusion, those absolutely have to be yours. So to put this balanced approach into actual practice, here's the game plan. First, utilize AI to facilitate your raw research. Let it do the heavy lifting of gathering the data and saving you precious time. But second, use that saved time to actually fuel your own intellectual growth. You have to make sure you're still pushing yourself to deeply, truly understand the material that the AI is throwing back at you. And finally, number three, always remember that you are the author. You have to retain final judgment and total accountability. The machine is literally just a tool. You keep your mental edge sharp by forcing yourself to be the ultimate gatekeeper of the information.
And all of this culminates in one ultimate litmus test, which we call the final defense. The source material provides this brilliant, super straightforward way to check if you've accidentally slipped into that trap of cognitive atrophy. Here's what you do. After you finish a project, an essay, or a report using AI, you have to stop and ask yourself, could I sit in a room completely alone and independently explain, justify, and defend this work without any software in front of me? Because let's be real, if you can't do that, you haven't actually learned anything at all.
So, I want to leave you with this stark, slightly uncomfortable question to chew on. If you can't defend the work without the AI, whose work is it really? Think about it. If you strip away the algorithms, the chatbots, the cleverly engineered prompts, what is actually left of your own active cognition? It's a pretty powerful reminder that, yes, while AI is a truly incredible assistant, you must never, ever surrender your own thought process to the machine. You got to keep learning, keep challenging your mind, and absolutely make sure you are always the one doing the thinking. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in this explainer today, and I'll catch you in the next one.